Hello everybody, this is Joseph Propat, and what I'm going to be doing in today's video is going through a number of the turns of like an initial playtest for my new solo rules for Star Trek CCG. So Star Trek, the collectible card game was, created in 1994. They have a lot of expansions. This setup is using the original initial unlimited version TNG, and all the cards you see here are the white border cards. And I used to play that a long time ago, and I thought, that it'd be nice to have a nice solo version that was more similar to the actual, series. It kind of followed along. The way I have this presented is it has a 5-year mission. There's a space line. You're going to travel through the space line. You're going to find crew and build up the crew on your starship. Find weapons. Explore this quadrant and actually go through a neutral zone and go into the enemy space line and deal with Romulans. So I wanted to add all that stuff, and then I added ship-to-ship battles. It's just so I took the rules for the original Star Trek CCG and I expanded upon them, and I tweaked a lot of things, and I added more detail, especially with a ship-to-ship battle. It's much more detailed. There's shields that can get damaged, and those go to first, and then there's hull damage, and then there's issues that can happen with people, and you can have injuries and deaths. So it's a lot more involved. And so I have all the rules on Board Game Geek. You can go to Board Game Geek, look at this section for Star Trek CCG, and in the file section you'll find the cards that I've created that go along with this variation, the rules that go along with this variation, and this player map. I'll be adding the PDF that will break it into 8 separate PDFs. I have one that just does the whole thing, so if you have the ability to print the whole thing out, it's like 40 by 24 or 22. It's a pretty good size player map, but I also broke it into 8 sheets, so that way you can print it out yourself and then just tape it together. It doesn't look as great, but works out just fine. But that's what this is. This is a new solo variant that I created that's just for Star Trek CCG. And the nice thing about it is I'm going to expand on it. I'm going to have additions to it where you can use different types of, what would they call them? You can use Klingons and Romulans and, different types of personnel from different types of, I can't remember what they're called, but it's, Kardashians and all these different, well, not classes or races, but you know what I mean. So, but this initial one that I'm going to show you, this is just based on, TNG's, the cards from that initial set. So let's go ahead and let's get started. I'm going to go through each turn. There's 6 phases in each turn, and I just want to go over a little bit of detail. I'm not going to play a whole, 5 years. It can be a long game, so just be prepared for that. Be prepared to sit down and really play a long session. But I do want to go through each turn so you can see how each phase is presented in the game. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll cover first phase 1. Phase 1 is very quick. It's basically just setting up this entrance-exit card for the neutral zone. And all it really is phase 1 is you roll a d6 and move this neutral zone card onto that space. That's phase 1. This is your entrance and exit between these space lines. So if you're on the space line and your ship is here, you can enter this neutral zone. If you have enough to continue on to the enemy encounter space line, great. It takes 3 range to get into here, and then whatever the next card is, you'd use that range. So if you were here, if you could get to here and you still had enough to get into here, great. That would be on your move. But on the next turn, you're going to roll again, and it might end up in another place. You kind of think of it as a wormhole to go through this neutral zone. So that's phase 1. you're just going to move that neutral zone card. And then phase 2 is your actual draw phase. So here's your mission, 5-year mission deck, 30 cards, and each card represents 2 months of time. 30 cards, 2 months, 5 years. So on phase 2, you're just going to draw the top card. Okay? Now, right off the bat, I have a Romulan encounter. And whenever you draw a Romulan starship, it's an immediate battle. Well, this is going to be tough because I don't have a lot of personnel. I haven't really got into doing it, so that's really going to be tough. But the nice thing about it is we're going to go and I'm going to show you a ship-to-ship battle. So that's what's going to happen in the reaction phase. So this is phase 2, draw your card. Phase 3 is reaction phase. Reaction phase means you're going to react to whatever you drew in that 2-month period. So we have an encounter. We'll put that here. Basically, these 2 ships are going to battle. This is my crew, and I'm going to generate from these Romulan personnel a crew that's along with this ship. So I'm going to stop the video, and then we're going to go into an actual phase 3, which is reaction phase. Okay, so we're going to start phase 3, the reaction phase, and it's going to be a ship-to-ship battle. Normally, ship-to-ship battles would happen during the movement phase because you might move into a spot and something might happen. You might attempt a mission, and then there might be, a Romulan ship. But when you're only on this space line, the only time you're going to encounter a Romulan ship is if you draw it in your mission deck. So what we do is we have in the reaction phase, we have our Romulan ship, and then we take our Romulan crew, and the crew size is based on what your crew size is, okay? But it's going to have 1 less. So whatever you have, if you have 6 crew, then this crew, you're going to draw 5 crew members and place them all out. We only have 3 right now, so we have our captain and 2 staff, 2 crew members. So I'm going to draw 2 cards. Okay. Now we do have commander. Now this is one that's not a, this is more of a scouting vessel. So I don't have to worry about command situations of having command requirements of, 2 or 3 or 4 staff. These 2 will be fine. I'll be able to fight with these 2. Okay. And then I'm going to get the cards, so I have these available. We have our crew, right? And we always want to make sure, I have an officer and an officer. Problem is I don't have any science, I don't have any engineering, medical, so that could hurt me. It could be a situation. So, because science and engineers and medical are the ones that are going to help me with shields and hulls, and so that's one of the things. So we're going to initially take out our 12 shield damage cards, right? So we'll put those here, and then we have our 12 hull damage cards. I'll shuffle those in a second. And then we're going to have our cubes, right? And we will track, I'm going to move this out of the way right now. Okay. So we have our attack tracker, okay? And let's put our shield, right? So there's shields of 3, not a lot. I have shields of 9, so we'll put 3. So I'll be able to take a lot more damage. Okay, so I have 4, 9, I got 3. Weapons are 3, I have weapons of 7, and if I want to run, I got a range of 9. So one of the big things is escape. I will never be able to escape this Romulan ship because it has a range of 9. If the range is greater than my ship, greater than or equal than, actually, I'll never be able to escape. I would have to have a higher range to be able to escape from this battle. So we get our setup like that. Then we have our hull. So we'll put these on here. Romulans will use green cubes. Let's put these here. And hull is the same as shield, so there's going to be 3 for hull. So we have 3. And let's see here. And I have 9. And I like to use the blue. Blue for Federation, green for Romulans. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. And I need one more. Shields. So I will pull one more out. So I'll get one more, and then I'm gonna. So this is our initial setup. I'll need one more cube. Let me just shuffle these. The shield damage and hull damage, and I'll explain how these work as we go through the battle. But this is great. Gives me a chance to show a ship-to-ship battle. You'll be able to see the difference between my rules and then the rules for the normal original CCG Star Trek rules. So I'm going to get one more cube here. I'll have that set up, but let me just pause this right now, and then we'll get started in the battle. Okay, so I have my extra hull cube. So 3 and 9. Let's get started. Okay, so the way a ship-to-ship battle works is you have rounds, and you have an attack, and then this player will defend, and you have an attack, defend, and it just goes back and forth. And what will happen is you'll have damages that will happen. They'll initially happen to shields. When shields go down, it goes into hulls, and if the hull is breached, that ship is destroyed. Now you can't escape. Romulans will never try to escape. They will fight to the death against Federation. You can escape, but again, if you try to escape, this ship is just going to follow you, and they're just going to keep attacking you no matter where you get. So you may travel through mission to mission. But so basically, we got caught right at this outpost, this new patrol outpost, and this Romulan ship came up and started attacking us. So since they were drawn on the mission deck, they're the ones that came up to us, attacked us. They're going to get the first attack. And the way the attack works is you have an attacker that will take their weapon power, okay, which is 3. And let's see here. You have weapons against shields, and then there is a modifier dice. So you have this modifier dice. So first round, Romulans will attack. We have weapons of 3, and our shields are 9. The Romulans will roll d6, and it is 5. Now 5 against 9 shields, I'm not going to do anything. So not going to be any effect to my shields, right? So there's no actual hit. Now this is going to be a problem because this weapon of 3 and my shield's a 9, basically for them to hit my shields, they're going to have to roll a 6. So this is going to be a very short battle with this Romulan ship. So there was no effect on that one. So we'll attack. Now this is how it's going to affect them. I have weapons of 7. They have shields of 3. I will roll my modifier, and that is 5. So we have 12 against their 3, right? Now what happens is this, we take my 12 minus the shields, knocks it down to 9. That is 9 damage that's going to take. Well, that's obviously going to go through all the shields. What happens is that is a continue hit. It basically is, I've hit past, knocked all their shields out, but it didn't get right into the shields, into the hull yet. So, but instead of taking a shield damage card, I'm going straight to a hull damage card. So I'll draw one of these, and we'll read what it says. Must immediately retreat from the battle if no science or engineer officer on board. I have a science So that will nullify that. If there's a science or engineer, need 2 rounds to repair the life support system. So in 2 rounds, if I didn't have this this science, basically my life support would end, and I'm looking at I need to retreat. So I do have a science officer, so it's going to take 2 rounds. So 2 rounds, I'll be able to fix the life support, because this whole damage is life support failure. But we're out of shields, and I'm basically there on hull. Alright, so now it's their attack. Same thing, weapons at 3, we'll roll. They get a 6, nope. Basically 7, they don't even breach my shields. So, and remember, this is just a scout. So, they do no damage to my shields. It's our attack. I have weapons of 7. Man, this is just brutal. So, 13 minus their 3 shields, that's 10. There goes their 3 hull. So, I've taken those 3, I have 7 extra damage going in. This vessel's completely destroyed. So, that's gone. And now, let's put all these off to the side. Now you can see that type of attack against a Galaxy class vessel, no match, right? And these Romulans didn't even have a chance. So we'll basically put these at the bottom. Put this back in the hull cards, right? Set these up over here. Okay. And you get this for victory points. Now these victory points, basically add these up. When you do your victory point totals, it's going to be 9 plus 3 plus 3. So you'd get 15 points down. So we'll put this over here as victory points. And put our outpost back. And we'll go ahead and finish up this turn. So that was basically our reaction phase. That was 3. So we'll go into 4, which is personal phase. Now this is a nice one. This is one that I like to show. It needs a little bit more detail. So what happens in the personnel phase is these personnel are going to be advancing into this outpost where they can actually now be picked up. So what we do is we move these, we shift them right to the outpost. These get shifted from 3 to 2, and then we draw 2 new personnel cards into stage 3. And so what that does, it allows us to see this is how far away these are, and this is where I am in distance to these outposts. Now, this personnel and this personnel card are the only ones I can actually pick up if I get to this outpost. These 2 are kind of on their way to that outpost. You look at these and you go, you've got notification on board that's saying, hey, Soren is going to be heading to this outpost but won't be here at a certain time. Till a certain time. You know, same with Alexander and Thomas Riker. They're on their way to this outpost, but they haven't gotten there yet. Now, Beverly Crusher and Mott are here, and I can go pick them up. She would be great to get, but I don't know if I could make it in time. So we'll see. So, through personnel, the personnel phase, you're going to be adding new personnel. Now, what would happen in the next personnel phase, these ones that are on the outpost, they get removed. And then everybody shifts, and then 2 new personnel get coming. And that happens every turn. There's a rotation of these personnel cards. And as you go through it, right, you just shuffle it back up, and then you go through these personnel again. And so you will go through this pile twice, at least. So if you missed it one time, there's a chance that you'll get them on the second time for personnel that you really need. And the personnel are critical because their abilities are what allow you to complete these missions. You look on here and you go, I need astrophysics. And you go, okay, who's astrophysics? Soren has astrophysics. Well, that's one of the talents that I need, one of the abilities. And then I'd also need stellar cartography. Well, who has stellar cartography? Well, do we have anybody here? Stellar cartography? No. So I would be looking for another person that has stellar cartography. Right? Same with over here. Astrophysics, stellar cartography, cunning. You know, cunning is, you know, you look at cunning and you need enough crew to be over 40. So that's why you're looking in this personnel phase. Okay, so once you have this personnel out and then you start to rotate, you're going to start picking them up and then using them for the mission cards. So let's go ahead and we finished that, we're going to go on to the movement phase, which has a lot more action. Okay, let's talk about movement. So, movement phase. I'm going to start moving my Galaxy class starship, on the space line so I can try and get to these personnel cards, right? Medical, very good one to get. So, here's where I'm at, okay? I'm starting the game on this neutral outpost. So the way movement works is you have a range on your ship. Range for this USS Galaxy is 8. Now, everything has a point range to get into. All these mission cards at the bottom have their movement range you need to get into that region of space. Then you also have these Federation outposts. Those are 1 to get into. If you want to get in and out of this neutral zone, those are 3. On movement phase, you have 2 actions that you can do. Okay, so one action is fly your ship, obviously, and that's move around the space line. Your second option is staff your ship, which means when you get to these outposts, all of these outposts Federation outposts will have a personnel. The neutral outposts will only get personnel when it's drawn from your mission deck. So you kind of look at this as if you find a person in here, maybe there was some kind of situation where they were in a derelict ship that was attacked and they're kind of floating in space and you were able to pick them up. Well, no, because that would be on your ship. But these were picked up by someone and dropped off at a neutral outpost, and then you happen to find them when you visited. That's how these personnel get there. So only the personnel from this mission deck will be in the outpost, neutral outpost. So moving through here, that's how you get to these sites and you can pick up staff. Then you can attempt a mission. So when you move to a mission and you have the requirements to fulfill that mission based on your staff or equipment that you have, that'll allow you to complete this mission and then go down and try and do the dilemma and see if you can find the artifact. And then you also have ship battles, which you saw earlier. You have, you might have, like in here, you won't have any ship battles. They'll be based on your mission. But when you start going into the enemy encounters, into this Romulan area, yeah, there's going to be a higher percentage of possibly getting an attack from a much more powerful Romulan ship. So just be aware of that. This was just a scout, no problem. But here, you can have ones that are just as powerful as your Galaxy class starship. So movement, you have a couple options, and during that movement phase, you have 2 actions. Each one of those can be done twice. You can do one or another. Any order, it's just 2 actions. So you could do 2 movements in the same phase. So what we're going to do is, first one we're going to do is move, because I want to try and get over to here to pick up this personnel. So we have our 8 range, right? We don't have to add this. We only would take 1 to get into it. So here we're going to do 5, right? So we have 5. We're moving to this space range. To get over here, it's another 5. I don't have enough, right? So that's 8. So I want to look now. It would take 3 to get into here. Can't do that. But if I do another movement phase, I have 3 plus 8, 11. So I would have, let's see here. We've got 5 to get in here. I have 3 left. This and this are 9. So I have 3 plus 8 is 11. I could actually get into here, right? The problem, the dilemma, is it takes 2 actions to get to here. I don't have an action to actually pick that staff member up. That's the only problem. So I have to really look and go, what's more important? Getting to here, and then on the next phase, this card would get to here, which is good. Astrophysics, I could use that. I'm not going to make this one, so I'm not going to be able to pick that one up. And this one is civilian, youth, not really a big one. So I would say it's better to get to here, and then on the next turn when these shift, Beverly will have to come around another time. So I'm going to use the second action, right? So I have 3 left, right? So I got to here, right? That's 5. So I've used 3 out of that, so 2, right? But I have my 8. So we have 2 and 4, 6, plus 1, 7. I'm able to get to this outpost. Okay, so if we total that up, we had 5, 10, 14, 15. We had enough because if I move to a range of 8, 16, I had enough to get there. Unfortunately, I don't have another action to pick her up. So remember, because that is an action. So we're done with movement, right? And again, be aware of where you're on the space line, how long it's going to take you to get to an outpost, because you may get there, but if you've used 2 actions to get there, you can't use a 3rd action to pick up that personnel. So good idea to time these, either not be too far away when you see a card coming up, like here, this is an officer, but yeah, not a lot for that one, just youth. But this officer right here, yeah, that's one we're going to want to try and get to. So right now, we'll shift on the next turn and at least pick her up for the astrophysics, because there's a lot of them that have astrophysics. Okay, so that's my movement phase. And then after movement phase, right, which is 5th phase, we go into the 6th phase, which is basically cleanup. Now cleanup just means we can rearrange, right? We can move personnel back and forth from the shuttle craft, range. I could change, if my captain died, I can now make a new or promote a staff crew member to become the captain. Any cards that were out, that need to be discarded. So we're good. We've done our cleanup. We don't see anything that we have to range. Everything's good. That would be on whole turn. Now I know that took a long time because I was doing a lot of explanation, but that's really the turn phase of Star Trek CCG, the solo variation. So let's go on to the second. I'm going to use this to keep track of my turns, right? So we'll put this off to the side. That was 1. We're going to go into 2. Okay? So what's the first thing you do? We're going to roll, see where the neutral card is. So this is the start of turn 2. Roll a 5. Oh, look at that. Didn't move. So if we had a ship on there, we'd go right in. We could go to either one of these mission cards based on our movement. So phase 1, we roll. Phase 2, we do draw phase. We're going to draw from our mission deck. And we have an event. So let me read this event. Dr. Sorova proved in 2370 that disastrous rifts occur in the fabric of space due to the excessive use of warp drive. Discovery led to a Federation-wide speed limit of warp 5. Play crosswise on any spaceline location. Any ship passing over here without stopping occurs damage. So I would do it doesn't say it, but what you do is you're going to put it on any one of these mission. So we'll just roll. So 3, 1, 2, 3. So we'll put it right there. So if my ship passes over here without stopping, we incur damage. So I'm going to have to stop here no matter what if I want to get rid of this event. You're basically checking out this space warp rift. So I don't want to take damage, but if I want to get to Wrecker, I may have to do that. So that is, we're just going to have this. So what it would be is we know where it's going to go, right? We've drawn the card. Phase 3 is the reaction phase. And reaction phase is how we place it on, that's where we would go through and place it on the mission card. The reaction phase is going through the motions of the card that you draw, right? So we've done our action phase, personnel phase, and what happens in the personnel phase? We unfortunately have to retire these 2, and we discard them right here. Sorry. We'll put them here, right? They'll go back in. We can even just put them underneath. Okay? And then what we do is we do our shift. There. There. And here. And then we draw 2 new ones. Alright. And this is Dr. LaForge. So LaForge's dad. Oh no, that's LaForge. Let's see here, specialist theology. Okay. He is the father of Geordie LaForge. So, we've done our personnel. We've put out our new personnel cards. Now we can see, ooh, that's exobiology would be good, but we still really, we want to get to Riker. That's going to be tough, so we're going to have to really cruise, and we may have to take damage. So, we've done our personnel out. That's personnel phase, right? Let's go into 5, movement phase. So, okay, this is going to be tough. If I pick her up, that's 1 action, then I have another action, which is 8, and I can't even get to this. So, man. But, astrobiology. You know what? If I don't get to Riker, what am I going to do? So, but he has leadership, navigation. But I have a Riker here, so don't need to. And it's a different, because this is Thomas William. But you could have both those, because there were like different types of characters in an episode. So I think I'm going to use an action to put her in my personnel, and then I'm going to move. I have 8, but unfortunately that's 9 to move to, and I can't make it to this range. So we'll just have to move there. That's my movement phase. Boy, it's going to be tough. I am definitely not going to make it to him. So we've done our movement phase, right? And then we're going to go into last, which is cleanup phase. So this is still going to be here until we either go through it or land on it. Not through it, but if I got to land on it, get rid of that event. So we're done with our cleanup. We could arrange these guys if we wanted to. We could even look on here and go, are there any cards that I could actually get done? So astrophysics, stellar cartography, right? And all the time you want to be looking at these cards to see which crew can actually start completing these missions, right? Diplomacy, you know, definitely diplomacy ×2, integrity, but now you got to look, can I do a integrity greater than and a cunning greater than? I don't think so. So we got cunning is 8, that's 15, and we got 22, and then 28. Yeah, see, I need to get in the 30s. I need to get more crew. So archaeology, stellar cartography, anthropology. Yeah, so I got to start getting some guys in here. So that's our the end of turn 2. Let's go into turn 3. And we will set our die up to turn 3, and then we'll start turn 3. All right, let's start turn 3. So, what do we always do in the first turn? Neutral card. So we roll our die. Whoops. We move our card to 3. Okay, so our neutral card is moved. Then draw phase 2, interrupt. So interrupts will be, you can place them in your hand. This is what's going to be put in your hand. So play on any occupied ship, battle crew now, and at start of every player's turn. 2 Borgs equal 2 strength, each 3 equals 3 each, surviving Borg remains. So this is Rogue Borg Mercenaries. So this is the one that battles the crew. So now I have to play this on my ship. Okay? So upon Hugh's return to the Borg Collective, the Borg becomes self-aware. Soon, many questioningly followed their first leader, Lore. So, plays on any occupied ship, which I'll play it on mine. Battles crew now and at start of every player's turn. 2 Borg equals 2 strength each, and 3 equals 3 each. Surviving Borgs remain. So, we'll have to do that. That's going to be, again, on the reaction phase, we'll go throughout. So, we'll do phase 3, reaction. This gets played on the occupied ship. And then we'll go through, let me go through the rules of how this will react to my crew. Okay? So this is now reaction phase. Right? In reaction phase, all this battle, before we get to the personnel phase, we're going to deal with that interrupt. All right, so let's do this this interrupt. Let's deal with this right now. So we're going to react to this card during the reaction phase. The way this works is you have these Borgs that have got onto your ship, and then we're going to see how many Borgs there are. So the way this works is you're going to roll to see how many it is, and that roll will show how many Borgs are there and their strength. So if we roll, right, that's a big one. So there's 5. Now you could pull out Borg sheet, cards, but I'm just going to use counters, and I'll leave this 5 here. So each one of these Borg is going to have a strength of 5, which that's pretty good. And then I have my crew. So these have all entered my ship. I have to deal with them individually, and my crew is the one's going to have to deal with them. Now I have some equipment. This is where equipment comes in. This phaser adds 2 to the strength. I'm going to add it to, I don't need to add these 2 guys. They've got a high strength. Like, Picard's got 6, Riker's got 7. Now we have 4 and 3. I will put, since I want to stun these. If you're equal, it doesn't do anything. So I'm going to add this to this guy, and that will make him have a 6. So just remember that. So this stun, the phaser will go with Nikolai. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, shuffle these up, right? And they're on board. We're going to battle these as, this is personnel battle. Okay, staff. They're going to be fighting. So the way it works is you got a Borg that's going to be fighting with crew member. Now, she only has a 3, 5. So, unfortunately, that 5 to this 3, she's stunned. So we're going to turn her sideways. She can't even battle anymore. Then we'll do the next guy, right? Now he has the phaser. So there's a 4 and a 6. So this guy is stunned, right? So we'll put him out. He's not eliminated. The only way you can eliminate something is if you're double their strength. So, right? So I would have something, I would need something that's 5 and 10. So these guys would have to be a strength of 10 or greater to eliminate these guys. So what we're going to be doing is we're working on stuns. Okay? So we're going to have this off, right? Going to pull up the next guy. So this one is Picard, which is a 6 to the 5. That guy's stunned, right? And then Riker. Riker has a 7 to this 5. He's stunned. Right, so we got 2 guys that are functional, and we've lost one of our crew members. Okay. So we're going to shuffle these up again. I'm going to keep that phaser with Nikolai. All right. So Picard has a 6 to 5, stunned. Nikolai has a phaser. That's 6 to 5. So these guys have all been stunned. So we win this battle, but unfortunately I have a stunned crew member, right? Which this crew member will be stunned for this whole turn. But we've dealt with this interrupt, and then we can discard this, right? No points on this one, nothing. So we'll just put it in a discard. So we'll put it off to the side here. All right. Oh, sorry, that was the 5-year. There. That was one of the 5 years, so we'll discard it there. And we've resolved that interrupt. We've got our crew and equipment back, and we are on our way. So that was the reaction phase. Let's go ahead and do the personnel phase, right? So we will shift. There's nothing to take out of here, but we take this guy out, right? So take that. We'll shift, and we'll shift, shift, and shift, and then we will draw our 2 new cards. All right, and there we go. So we got an officer, a science officer, and a medical officer. Cool. We need a medical officer. All right. And we will put this underneath. So, personnel phase we've done, right? These guys now are available. If I get to here or here, I can pick up those cards. I'm not going to make the Riker just too far away. So, we have done personnel. Let's go into movement phase. Do our 2 actions. I could move into here, but it's just you. Not worth it. That would be okay. Okay. These look like she's pretty good. She could have, so, stellar cartography. Oh, that's a good one. Need that one, stellar cartography. So we'll work our way over here. So Our movement, first one we're going to do move. So that's 5. We got 3 left. We want to, though, deal with this. Play in response, the ship passing, or stop. So if we stop, we'll use our second action, right? Can't go any further because I want to get rid of this card. So by stopping, we won't do the damage, but we can get rid of it. All right, so here we are, and we have 5, 3, 3 to get to here. So I think we'll have plenty to get to that one, no problem. So that was our 2 actions. We've decided to do 2 move actions. Not going to pick anybody up. Not going to deal with these crew. And we'll go on to the last one, which is our cleanup phase. So cleanup, like I said, we get rid of that event. She will be now fully out of her stun. And we're good with all of our cards. Can't do any mission right now because we don't have stellar cartography. Nope. So that would be a really good one to get. All right, let's finish it up. And then we'll go to turn 4. Okay, let's start turn 4. This is Star Trek CCG Solar Variation. My name is Joseph Papati, and we are going to start turn 4. So what do we do on our first turn? We roll to see where our neutral zone pops out. And that will be here. Okay? Go to phase 2, which is the draw phase. Draw one of our mission cards. And we have an event. So let's see what this event says. Tetryon field. Intense masses of subspace particles. Usable in normal space, which requires ships to route through safe quarters. Play crosswise on any spaceline location. All ships must stop here before proceeding to the next turn, unless navigation aboard. So, cool. Our captain has navigation. So what we'll do is we'll just draw roll 6. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll put it right here. Nuisance. So reaction phase. This is where we're going to react to this. We place it on the card. Can do anything? Play crosswise, right? We're going to put it on here, and we know that if we stop, we can stop to get rid of this, or if one of my crew has navigations, you can go right past it and then negate it. Right, so that's reaction phase. Let's go ahead and do our personnel phase. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Riker, right? And she isn't available. And then we shift these, right? And then we'll draw 2 new ones. Youth again, and science. Oh, that's good. We really want to get her. So we've got to make our way over here. So we've done our personnel. Let's go into movement phase. Let's get over here. So we have range 8. So we got 5 and 3, right? That's 1. And then I want to get through here 3 and 5, or 3. We got 3, and then we can get to there. So I think what we'll do is, let's clear this. We stop. It says we have navigation, so I can't, while I'm here, I have diplomacy, right? Do I have integrity and cunning higher than 35? I don't think so. So cunning is 8, 15, we got 22, 28. Nope. So couldn't even attempt this card. But if we had those, we could try and do that mission. So what I'm going to do is go on to here. So we have 3 plus 1, and we will go on to and dock. And since we have navigation, we can get rid of this card. Just discard it. So we had to use our 2 movements, which is okay. It got us to the outpost, right? And if you wanted to, you could kill turns sitting docked at the outpost, waiting for your, personnel. But you're just wasting turns. Remember, you still have to get these missions done to get to these artifacts, and then to get up to here and get 1 artifact to here to truly win the game. So you can't just sit around and do nothing. I know you can wait for personnel if you really, really need them, yes, to help you get past these missions, but you don't want to wait too long on an outpost. So we've done our move and then our cleanup phase. We're all good here. Nothing to take off. No cards to heal or damage that we have to deal with. We're good. Remember, Federation outpost, you could heal, repair your ship. So just can't do it on here. So we're good there. And that is that turn. So let's go on to turn 5. All right, turn 5. Let's see what we got. So, as always, we roll, see we're neutral. That goes here. And then we do our draw phase. Draw phase, we have an interrupt. Okay? So then we'll go on to reaction phase, and let's react to this card. So interrupt says, temporal rift, time displacement caused by ultra-high energy explosions, such as that which affected the USS Enterprise C at Narendra 3. Okay, play on any ship. So when these say play on any ship, ours is the only ship, so we'll be playing on that. Ship disappears and must reappear here after 2 full turns. Discard interrupt after reappearance. So brutal. Ah, brutal, brutal, brutal. That is a brutal one. So what we can do is I'm going to be disappearing. So during this turn, we're going to finish up what we need. I'm going to take, while I have the chance, grab this guy. All right. And then we have a disappearance. Okay. So for 2 turns, that's going to ruin 2 turns. That's 4 months that I have to wait. And these guys are all going to shift. Darn, and I'm not going to be able to get her. That is frustrating. That interrupt is frustrating. And there's nothing I can do to get rid of that. Oh, shoot. Okay. So we're going to do these turns real quick. I've disappeared. We finish up with, that is now, I can't do movement, right? We're going to skip through movement, going to skip through cleanup phase. We're going to go to 6. So for 2 turns, let's mark this out. We have, here, we'll just do this little marker. Put it on 1, so this is going to be the turn 1 of that. First thing we do, neutral zone. Put it on 4. We draw a card. Still got to draw because it's still a turn. Oh, and we got ship reaction to it. Now this thing, it doesn't know where our ship is because we're disappeared. So what we're going to do is roll a d6 and place it in this area of space. So if I ever hit this, I'm going to be fighting that guy. And then we aren't having any movement. Personnel. We still got to go through the personnel shift. So we got that one. This one's out. So we'll do that and this. Shift, shift. This goes under personnel, right? Then we will put out 2 new ones. Oh, that's a good one. And that's a good one. Medical. Okay. So we finish up that. Can't do movement. That's done, right? And cleanup. Nothing to clean up. All right, so we'll go to the next turn, turn 7. Right here. And we are on turn 2. Let's go ahead and roll our d6 for this. And we put it on 5. And then we have our draw phase. We have nothing happens this turn. Great. That was nice to know. Then we have our reaction phase. So we can't react to this yet because we have to finish up this turn. We have to do personnel again. Unfortunately, we don't get this card. Okay. Then we shift these guys. Shift. Let's put this off here. Because wherever it disappeared, it's going to reappear. So if I was on a mission and I disappeared for 2 turns, I would leave it at that mission and I would pop back out. So some temporal rift. All right, then I'll draw the new ones. Maybe these will be good. Physics. And mine not. Okay. We do our personnel. Can't move, can't do anything. Reaction. Now we are done with that. So we will go to turn 8. Okay. And we are done with this. We are done with this guy. It's back on here. Discard that. That's because it started the turn. I can't remember if I rolled. Did I roll? All right. Yes, because nothing happened. That's right. So we were doing all this stuff. We just did our personnel, so we're going to do our movement. All right, so first of all, do I want the science officer? Science. I mean, I have room. I could get that. So we'll take one of the actions. Okay. And do I want to move? Do I have medical? No. Diplomacy. Don't have this yet. I do have more cunning. So let's see what we got now for cunning. We got 8, 15, 22, 28, 33, whoa, 40, 33, 42. Okay, we got enough cunning. Now if we go to integrity, we have 9, we got 17, 20, 26, 33, and 41. Oh, okay, so if we have these in diplomacy, I could do that. I could try and resolve this. So if I can get there, which I can, 3 and 6, I won't be able to get this yet. Now, is there anything I want to get? Computer skills and mind meld as medical. That would be good to have medical. So what we're going to do, I can get back and I'd be able to. So, darn. All right, what am I going to do? I want this card better than that one. So we're gonna skip through. We're not gonna move, right? I want to move here because I can't do the attempted mission. I know I need to get these done, but I really need this crew member. I need a medical. Don't have one. So on my movement, I'm not gonna do anything because on your turn you don't have to do anything. These are actions you can do, but you can sit and do nothing if you want, right? So during your turn, it's up to you. You don't have to do any of the actions if you want. You just sit. So we're gonna sit here, clean up. This one's still in this area, so we are going to finish up turn 8, and any other cleanup we need to do, shifting, nope. So let's go ahead and finish up this turn. Move on to turn 9. Okay, let's do turn 9. So turn 9, again, first thing we do, roll, and it stays in the same spot. We're going to draw a card. Ooh, yikes. Another one. This is a powerful one. Range of 9, weapons 9, and shield 7. This is the Kazara. So we'll see where it lands at. 4. So it's right here. 3, 4. That is our reaction. Well, I've got to place it, but can we react to it? No, because it's not near us. But if we move into here, yes. Now, what's going to happen, though, is these things will stay there, right? So anytime I want to pass through here, I'm going to have to deal with them. So that's not good. Let's move on to personnel phase. We'll get rid of that guy. There's nothing there. So we'll shift. And then we will shift these. And draw some new ones. See what we got. So engineering. Oh, that's a good one. And a youth again. But an engineer. And we don't have any engineers, so that would be a good one. Engineering, okay. Because it has engineer as its ability. Like I said, engineer. So we are done with personnel. Let's go ahead and do our movement phase. I want to pick this one up, right? We've done our last. That's going to be staff personnel. And then I'm going to move, which is 3 and 6. So we'll move right there. Okay? Let's put it down. Because we're going to attempt that mission on the next turn. We've got that done. We can rearrange these guys. And you could put your sciences together. Right? So we'll have 3 sciences. Probably be getting rid of one of these guys, maybe the physics, the science officer with science. Okay, so we've got these rearranged. Any other cleanup I need to do? Nope. So we're good there. And let's go on to turn 10 and see what happens. All right, let's do turn 10. So First things first, let's see where we're at with neutral zone. Boom, all the way down to here. Then 2, we will draw a card. Ooh, another interrupt. Trans-warp conduit. New Borg technology which creates an artificial subspace tunnel that increases effective warp speed. Select a ship. It can now move double range this turn. Ooh, so that's going to be nice for us. So the reaction phase, put it on there, and now we know that we can move double. Well, that's good. We will do now personnel. Not going to get this guy. All right, and we will shift. And shift. Let's see what new personnel. Oh. Engineer. Oh, I don't know how I got that double in there. Let's take that out. Let's do another one. Okay, there we go. VIP, diplomacy times 2. All right. So we got a personnel done. Let's do our movement phase. So we're here. I'm going to do, we know that we can move double, but right now I want to accomplish this mission. My captain has diplomacy time 2, so that's covered. Integrity and cunning are definitely over the range, because if we just do cunning, 15, we got 22, 30, 35, that's 44, yeah, we're in the 50s. And then the same with, okay. So we have got this, we've accomplished this, so let's move this out. Okay, so we've done this, so we get this 35 points. That's part of our victory condition. Now we will turn these over, and we have a dilemma. I don't want to show what's under it first. So, cosmic string fragment. A long space object as thin as a proton, but with the gravitational attraction of 100 stars. Ship is sucked into and destroyed unless, oh boy, astrophysics, or engineer, or navigation aboard. Discard dilemma. So, do we have any of those? Astrophysics, and we have astrophysics. Whew, saved our butts. We would have been destroyed. Game over. So, we are going to accomplish this because we have astrophysics and we have engineer, right? We have an engineer. Oh, do we have an engineer? Oh, geez, we didn't even have an engineer. Gosh. But we did have navigation. So we had navigation covered. All right, so let's see if we get an artifact. Nothing found. So we'll get these 5 points, victory points, and nothing found. So we'll discard that. And put it right there. And we will draw a new, is this the missions? Yes. Now you don't put in a new nothing found or shuffle for an artifact or anything. You can't do any of that until these are. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. I mean, that was a long video. If you didn't make it through the whole video, that's fine. I just wanted to give you a number of turns. Now, don't take the time of this video as this amount of time you'll have to do with a game. I don't think it's going to take hours and days to play this. But if you want to play it slow and you want to do all these turns slow, great. You can always come back to it and play. I think this is one of these immersive solo events that you'll play with this game. It's not something you're going to want to rush through, and you're going to want to deal with each situation as they come up, deal with missions, So don't take this time. I did a lot of explaining, it extends out each turn as I explain everything, but I just want to leave you with that. These number of turns, it should give you an idea of the sequence of play, how all the phases work, how each turn, how the cards can affect dealing with ship battles. I still will do a video that's just dealing with the ship battle, and I think what I'll do is I'll play off this scenario and I'll just have this ship battle happen with this Romulan ship, and that way I can go into deeper. The one that we had for the Scout, it was very quick. It wasn't even really a true battle. But this one could be a serious battle and will have an effect with the player, your personnel, their personnel. So I think that will be a really good video to watch. But that's really how the playthroughs work. for the turns and the phases. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it isn't too daunting for you, that you're just like, I'm not playing this. It's just too much. It really is for someone that has the time to really get into and immerse themselves into that TNG world, that the next generation TV series, so they can feel like they're actually, playing and dealing with missions and exploring on a 5-year mission. So don't let it be too daunting for you. If you really enjoy the game and you really want to expand upon it, I will be coming up with updates so you can use different types of personnel, Romulans, Klingons, all these other factions that you can use to make the game more interesting, to make it more random. This is going to be one of those solo variations where it's just, you'll never play the same game twice. When you play different missions and different personnel, it'll always be different. It's just going to be a game that evolves depending on the cards. And like I said, when you start using different expansions, then it will really evolve into something completely different. But it's really important to take a look at the cards that you use for this game and pull cards out that, like I said, deal with an opponent directly or deal with players, right? You just want to focus on cards that will affect you, your ship, things that will happen to you on a away team. It really is up to you. So just that's really what I wanted to show. So there was one thing I missed. I just wanted to update this. When I did this one mission, I just wanted to show the mission. But one thing I was supposed to do was, when you have a planet mission and it's a planet, I should have rolled a D6, right? And if I had rolled a 6, I would have had to use my shuttle to beam down or to shuttle down to the planet and then perform the mission, which means I would have to pick specific crew. So I did forget to do that, but I was just getting to the end of it, and I just really wanted to show a mission completion. But just remember, if you are trying to resolve a mission and it has a planet, roll a D6. If you roll a 6, you have to do an away team, and you're going to have to pick your 5 crew to go to that away team. So you would put your crew here, put your shuttlecraft there, and now you know that you're on the planet. So, and you have to have the crew in here with enough of the requirements to complete the mission. So, just something I missed. It's something you want to remember, and just be aware of that. So, you only do that on the planet missions. If you want to get even into more detail, if you want to also do it with the space missions, just do the same thing. Roll a D6. If you ever roll a 6, then you have to use your shuttle. But that's completely up to you, right? You don't even have to use it if you don't want. But that's how the shuttle is involved in the game, is by rolling that D6 and having to use it. Or if a card says, you have a shuttle to use. So thanks for watching. Again, my name is Joseph Propati, and this is my solo variant for Star Trek, the card game. And the cards that you see here are all from the very first edition of the Next Generation card set. So you can use anything you want, but I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.